Good morning, collective. Good morning. It's your girl, Patience, your favorite psychic spirit medium. Just tune in the human biofield so we can get connected. I'm here with Spirit, my very own spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle. I am so grateful to them. They are absolutely amazing. I highly recommend that you seek out the help of your own spirit team. Everybody has a spirit team. Everybody. You think your creator would put you here on this planet in this incarnation without a little help? Heck no. He gave you parents, didn't he? I mean, they might not be the best parents, but you chose them. So, hello, good morning. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you so much. We're so grateful to be connecting with you in this very unique way. And we have a message to bring forward. I want to share with you that I freaking love waking up early. And I never in a million years would have ever thought that about myself. I I used to not be a morning person at all. And when I had kids, I had that same mindset and it was hard because kids wake up early. Marie, hello dear. Thank you for being here and blessing me with your presence. We are so grateful to share energy with you this morning. I have been loving waking up early, and spirit has guided me to this place so slowly because it's definitely not something that I necessarily chose, but I was definitely guided. And what I'm learning is that at this time in the morning is the best for connecting with spirit. And it has been so beautiful. I wake up when I go to work, I wake up at 3. Okay? Because I gotta be at work by 4 because I'm a baker. And so I wake up super early, so I want time to be able to meditate and go into my vortex and all that. So it's just kind of slowly, after all these months of doing it, has got me to this point. And on the weekends, I absolutely love waking up before everyone else, connecting with spirit, meditating, doing my breath work, stretching. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. I feel like $1,000,000 right now. I'm ready to bring a message forward. I'm so happy to be here with you. So I was meditating and I got this. Well, okay, no, wait. First of all, sorry. Let me backtrack. So all day yesterday, I had a song in my head, and it was by Hall and Oates, which, funny story, I thought for the longest time that it was Holland Oates, Holland, but it's Hall and Oates. And I'm not familiar with all of their songs, but this song was in my head all day yesterday and I wanted to read it so bad. But I was like, no, I'm trying to hold off for the weekends in my special time that I have. So I did look the song up because I was like, is this even a real song? Did I make this song up? And it was a real song. It was Out of Time or Out of Touch. It goes, I'm out of touch, I'm out of time, but I feel something. Oh man, I gotta look it up. I'm out of touch, I'm out of time, but I'm going on my mind when you're not around. You know that song? Just that part over and over. And I was like, oh, get out of my head. And so I think it's really pertinent to this reading because this morning I was meditating. I was meditating on the whole New Orleans thing, and it just didn't sit right with me. We were trying to watch, the news and stuff, and I just feel like it goes in a circle on the news. Like, I don't expect them to know everything, but the questions that I would ask, they're not asking. And I'm like, why won't they ask this question? And why are we okay? Like, I don't know. There's just a weird disconnect where I don't feel like that's like the best place to get our information, and which is why me and Spirit created Spirit News, higher perspectives of linear views for this type of thing, because our what we see is not necessarily what the truth is. And what I'm learning is that just because you can't see it doesn't mean there's something else happening. A scare tactic, yeah, it feels, it feels really reminiscent of the false flags that they create. It feels really, and I'm not saying it is that, and whatever we pick up, and whatever gets read in this energy reading, I have to say, for legal purposes, is for entertainment purposes only, and I cannot prove any of it. I'm just, as a spirit medium, as a psychic, picking up on energy and learning how to read energy, okay? And so I can be up to misinterpretation. Of course, I'm a human who's new to my gift, and certainly, Spirit says. Need more time. Come through, Spirit. Come through. Spirit just said, need more time. Didn't I just say the song they put in my head was, we're out of touch, we're out of time? There's a group of people who are out of time. And I had a dream last night that Spirit will not let me have clarity on to be able to articulate it. But I do remember that there were Trivial Pursuit. There was up to 3 different groups of people that have some kind of authority or something, and they were scrambling to like get something done, to take action on something, to resolve some kind of conflict or something. And I don't remember exactly the details of that, and I know that that's on purpose because I usually remember all my dreams, and the ones that I can't remember, I know Spirit doesn't want me to divulge that information. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Lana. Hello. Welcome. So happy to have you here. Spirit said roommates. Spirit said roommates. Maybe there's some roommates here who are out of time, or symbolically, roommates could be people who are very close to each other, that are working together, that have lots of responsibilities together, something like that. Are you Buddhist, Spirit, ma'am? I am no religion. My religion is love, forgiveness, and compassion, and I'm just here with my own experiences, sharing them with you. That is all. Okay, so let me look at this song. Hall and Oates, Out of Time. Out of touch. Out of touch. So I was reading the lyrics for the actual, not the hook, the other part, and it had, I don't know, I didn't really resonate with what I was getting. It was really just the hook over and over again. But also, I didn't know the lyrics, so let me just read them. Shake it up is all that we know. Oh, shake it up is all that we know. Using the bodies up as we go. I'm waking up to fantasy. The shades all around aren't the colors we used to be. Broken ice still melts in the sun, and times that are broken can often be won again. We're soul alone. We're soul alone. And Spirit said, I'm lonely at the beginning of this reading. And soul really matters to me. Take a look around. You're out of touch. You're out of time. But I'm out of my head when you're not around. Oh, Spirit. Reaching out for something to hold. Looking for a love where the climate is cold. Manic moves and drowsy dreams. Or living in the middle between 2 extremes. He knows you. Smoking guns, hot to the touch. We cool down if we didn't use them so much. We're soul alone. Okay, so that's really, I'm glad I read the lyrics again, because last night I read them and I'm like, but after my meditation, I think it's really relevant. So in my meditation, there was a couple of things that Spirit gave to me about this when I asked, and it's about energy. It's about energy. So there's a group of people in power, and I'm not saying that it's the government, but it's people who are connected to the government, or it's like roommates. They're all connected in some form or way, with great responsibility, okay? And part of the message is that New Orleans is commonly known to have like the Mecca of voodoo, okay, which I know is a religion. And I don't know much about it. I'm learning as I go, from what Spirit brings to me, and it's coming all together because I watched, I was educated about hoodoo and voodoo and the difference between that. And then that hoodoo expert say
Surprised.
was saying the difference, and I was surprised because I didn't know there
At
was
the end of
one.
the day,
And Spirit said at the end of the day, there's people who don't understand the difference between hoodoo and voodoo, and New Orleans is a mecca
bell
for
place,
voodoo, and voodoo is supposed to
bell
be
tower,
a religion, but it is based on lots of ritualistic magic. And so the connection that Spirit gave me is that places that have high amounts of energy manipulation being done are going to attract people who have, in this time of judgment, in this time of Judgment Day, because we read the other day that Judgment Day has started, that will attract people who are operating in that energy, and it will be affecting that area, and there will be things that match the energy that will happen. So that's one part of it, okay? And then the other part of it is that we're out of touch, we're out of time. This group of people are using energy manipulation to, because they're running out of time for something. And I don't know what that is, we'll find out. But they're running out of time, and so they're desperate. They're coming up with really like sloppy, usually things that are really planned out, these false flags that are really planned out to, if you know what, let me look up false flag for you guys so you guys can just understand right now what I'm talking about. Definition of a false flag.
According to Wikipedia, a false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party.
Perfect. I don't know if you heard that. I'll read it. A false flag is a false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. And our government, or governments, not just ours, are very,
December,
it's very well known for them to do this, and they've done it throughout
round,
history. And we have to start becoming aware that they do this. This isn't something new. This is history repeating itself, and we may not know the reasons why, but the reasons why are always self-serving. And so they're coming up with really sloppy ways to quickly do something, because they're running out of time for something. And I don't know what that is, and I'm hoping to, I just got so itchy. I don't know why I got itchy on my back, itchy on my shoulder. And so it could be something about some truth coming out, being true is at the top of my deck. It could be about some truth coming out. They could be losing some kind of power, or it's because the energies are shifting. And we talk about this all the time, and we'll continue talking about it because we're here for the shift. We're here to help in the transition from the head to the heart. The energy is changing, and it doesn't allow, the energy is getting higher. We're getting closer to the sun, and so the electromagnetic frequency of the earth is actually rising. It's changing. And so that means that all inhabitants on earth that share earth's electromagnetic field has to change with it. So that's why in these kinds of cycles, a lot of upheaval happens, and and it happens on a micro scale and on a macro scale. So it's going to happen in, with shootings and bombs and people who are becoming unhinged or susceptible to intrusive thought by people of authority who understand energy, that will use energy manipulation to target people who are in that state, to do things for them, for false flags and for all kinds of things. And we wouldn't know that if we weren't able to have this energy that we're in now, because now we're able to tap into it very fluidly, and that's part of heart consciousness. And it's like a soul technology that is part of our non-physical energy, where if you allow yourself to believe that or understand that you're non-physical energy, you can tap in and you can be your own counsel. You can be your own counsel at all times. You can know what people's intentions are at all times. And we teach you that on Spirit News. That's our podcast. It's on all platforms. If you want to listen to that more metaphysical information on how we got there, not to do it like us, but to just show you that it's being done and that it's possible for anyone to get to that place, 366. We have that through the description bar, through the link tree, through the link tree. So if you want to follow any of our socials, we'd be happy to have you. So let's dive in. Okay, so that's pretty much like what I was getting. They're out of time. Someone's out of time for something. And to understand that this could potentially be a false flag, because there's a lot of things that don't make sense. Why would someone be so in America be so openly about ISIS, or I don't know if I can say that, but why would they be so open to, I think I heard there was a bumper sticker on their car or something. I'm like, aren't they a little more covert than that? Like, how would they get anything done if they were so open about, who they stand for, So that was interesting. And I don't know the answers. I really don't know the answers. But we'll see if we can get a higher perspective of this linear view so we can understand a little. And just remember, there are infinite possibilities, and we're just tapping into the one that Spirit thinks is the most pertinent for the energy we're in right now. And things can change at any second. And we're jumping timelines with every decision we make. And so we have to understand that we cannot become fixated on one possibility, because there's so many in the multiverse of possibilities. It's infinite. But right now in this moment, we're going to be tapping into whatever energy or timeline is pertinent for the information we need to know right now. Okay? And that could change. All right, Spirit, tell me how you feel about this situation. Tell me how you feel about this situation. They're trying to create some kind of restriction to our freedom, because a lot of people are awakening right now and they don't want to lose power. Basically, they don't want to lose their power. This is them. This is them. This is them. They're worried. They're worried. And Spirit's over here like, you can't stop the inevitable. You can't stop energy. It's an energy shift. There's people in power that have been using energy manipulation for their tactics of power. They've been using that for a long time for their abundance. It's some kind of discipline and philosophy they've been applying. And now they're questioning. They're like, oh, maybe this wasn't the way to go. They're trying to use the same old tactics they've used for up until now, but people can feel that there's something off about it. And so the same tactics that you used before aren't going to work now. And they know that. They know that. They know it again. Same face again. And Spirit's like, it's time for a new energy. Spirit's just so tired of this energy. and this is happening on a micro scale and a macro scale. So people in your lives, the micro scale is going to be more people on a relationship level. There could be potential people in your life that are operating in the same energy. It is about, look at me, part of codependent group, those bumpers, stickiness. Remember, not all is what appears, something else going on that doesn't advertise. Hello, I've been living with 2 jinns for 4 years now. They don't hurt me or bother me, but they always sleep on my chest at night and paralyze me. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know nothing about jinns. Except for the Mummy. Remember the Mummy? I think there was a jinn in that movie. Alright, let's do some word tiles. So, Spirit, what's a question I can ask? So, what is the goal here? Like, what happened? Can you please tell me what is the reason? What is the real reason for this incident? Accuse. Yeah, things definitely aren't as they seem, and that's why we created Spirit News with Spirit. I asked Spirit to give me a mission, and they gave me Spirit News to get higher perspectives of linear views, because all we know is what we're told, and what we're told isn't a full picture of what is real, and it's up to us to be able to discern deception with our gift from God that they gave us, the Creator gave us, to be able to know. 222 on the clock. Bedroom. Accuse, bedroom. Harm. Company in reverse. Average. Deity. I told you. There's some
experiences that shaped my life.
Okay. Alien. Accused, bedroom, harm, company in reverse, average, alien. Fuzzy in reverse. Nature in reverse. Beautiful.
Triangularity. Torture was cruel.
Torture is cruel. So I'm just going to say what I'm getting, and we'll see if that's confirmed with the cards. But there's something about... I told you it's about energy. And in this shift, people who... Rotten. People who are in a low energy with their emotions, like, for instance, say that this perpetrator of this thing that happened in New Orleans was susceptible to energy manipulation because of something that happened in their personal life, something that affected them emotionally, that would have put them in a matching energy state for intrusive thought. And I know for an absolute 100% fact, that there is a technology out there that was reverse engineered for the wrong purposes to control people's thoughts. There's actually some kind of frequency machine, some kind of weapon, I'd call it, an energy weapon, that can be targeted at people who are in a very high emotional state. And they're the most susceptible because they don't know how to control their emotions. And so that makes them susceptible to this energy weapon. And it is used. It's used a lot. And it's being used a lot for very heinous things. So it could have, you know what? I had a dream about this the other day. There was a cajillionaire man who in my dream was represented by Brendan Fraser. And hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Good morning. And I'm not saying it is Brendan Fraser. I'm just saying that was who Spirit had as the representation of this cajillionaire in the collective who has money, has a lot of money. And they make, they're like some kind of inventor, like some weird genius inventor. And they make energy weapons secretly without anyone knowing. And the reason why I know that this weapon exists because I heard someone talk about it openly who I know works for the military for military contracts. Okay. And I had made a comment, well, if they can use that to do intrusive thought, why don't they just use it to make everyone happy, feel emotionally happy? And that like stunted his he looked at me like I had 10 heads. Like that wasn't even a thought to them. Like, oh, you can use this technology to make people act in their low animal behavior and do horrible things, but you can't use it to make people happy? So you made this weapon exclusively to make people act in their low nature, and nature's in reverse right here. So this was back engineered alien technology that was used irresponsibly. It was taken by a human that matched that energy of war and control and power, and it was back engineered, and now it's used on people against their will to do things that they don't want to do, that they wouldn't do otherwise. So something about that. Yeah, it's rotten. It's not warm and fuzzy. I don't understand this bedroom though. Now, symbolically, bedroom could be intimate. It could be dreaming, like while in the dream state. Checkers, that's like a game. There's some kind of game being played between dark and light to acquire what? To acquire mouse. To acquire mouse. It's a cat and mouse game. It's a cat and mouse game between the low energies and the energies that are awakening. Adequate and reverse. They're feeling inadequate because they're losing power. Hit. They took a hit, or they're trying to hit us with something. What are they trying to hit us with? An accident. The goal is an accident. Goal and accident. All right. So the goal is to create this like situation where some accident happens or something that happens that hits our structure, that creates a conflict that compromises our structure in society. But it's not going to be real. It's going to be something that's planned, you know?
Made of flesh.
Yeah, by humans.
I faded in December.
All right. Let's do some Trivial Pursuit to find out more. Welcome to Human Experience. My goal is peace, love, and happiness. Amen, Marie. Yes. Well, listen, we're not here to spread fear. We're here to spread awareness. So remember, this is just a potential of infinite potentials, and that having awareness that these things happen will automatically make us not want that. So in the contrast of knowing what we don't want, now we can think of how we want it to be. If we know that this is a probability and a possibility, then we can think of other ways in order to prevent it from happening. Or if it does happen, we can have the awareness and ask questions that are needed in order to change the trajectory of the situation, because this happens a lot of times in our government. They make things happen, and then we're like, oh my god, how could they do that? And then, yeah, go get them, and we're all for, doing something that we normally wouldn't want, but because of this false flag, we're like, oh yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, government. All right, let's do some Trivial Pursuit. We'll do 6. I got 3 pink, blue, green, and orange. All right, Spirit, tell us more. What do you want us to know? What do you want us to know? We'll do pink. What Gershwin song pleads, don't, say it won't come true? Don't, say it won't come true. Do. And I had 3 pink. Do. Don't. Say it won't come true. This feels like a desperation. There's like such a desperate act of wanting to project some kind of outcome that Spirit is saying is just not, it's just not going to happen that way. Well, that's good to know. It feels like say it ain't so. No, say it ain't so. Just a really desperate.
A religious group.
A religious group. I told you. This is some.
Go see what's happening.
Go see what's happening. Okay. I'm gonna do pink again. What World War I tune warns, send the word to beware that the Yanks are coming? That's what we're doing right now. Spirit has said that by doing these reads, even if it's past, present, or future, by doing these readings on energy and tapping into a higher perspective of what we can't see, what it does is it changes the trajectory of where we go. And if we couldn't see what's happening, then all we would have to do get to do is to just follow what we see, go by what we see linearly. But because we bring forward these other potentials or other things that could happen, it actually helps us to understand a different way of perceiving. And so that changes the timeline. So it actually, by having the awareness of things that we cannot see, even if on a micro scale, it just helps you have awareness. That's really the best way I can say it. I think that's so magical. That is so magical. That is magic, not these bibbity boppity boops, but by having awareness, having a conscious, deliberate, intentional co-creation, being aware of all the potentials, but being an observer of them helps you choose what direction to go in. So there's definitely abuse. There's some kind of abuse of technology here, that hasn't been used responsibly. What kind of surgery forced cornet ace Bobby Hackett to play guitar when he joined Glenn Miller's band? Dental surgery. What kind of surgery forced cornet ace Bobby Hackett to play guitar? There's some kind of band of people or group of people who are being,
Perhaps.
perhaps, thank you, Spirit, who are being forced,
Destinies.
who are being forced to face their fate and to allow what is destined to be. Because you can't change destiny. You can change fate, but you can't change destiny. People who believe in music are the happiest people I ever seen. I believe in music. Yeah, there's an awakening happening right now, and that is in complete opposition to powers that be. The powers that be that operate in this low acting energy need us to be at a certain level of consciousness in order to operate, because they operate against our free will. But if we have awareness and we are able to see the things that they see, because they understand energy on the dark side of it, not completely, not a well-rounded education of energy, but they do understand that they can manipulate it. And so they know that, and they need us to not know that in order to keep on doing the things that they're doing. Okay. Anything is possible in this world. Yes. Yes, it is. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you're hitting that like button if you like what you're hearing. If you want to help us get out to those who need our kind of healing, we'd really appreciate it. We love you so much. Please go follow our socials, and we would love to have you be part of our community. So I'm going to do orange. What sport did Charlie Pride, Roy Acuff, and Jim Reeves play semi-professionally? Baseball, I told you. Semi-professionally. These people have messed with something that they didn't have a full, well-rounded education on. They only understood what they were a match to, and they've been using energy manipulation to restrict us and to advance themselves. And they've been doing it for so long that they were never told the consequences of what would happen when the shift happened. They knew something would happen, but it took a long time to get to this point, to get to the shift.
Keeper.
The keeper, they were keeping knowledge from us
Stroll.
on purpose because they didn't want us to be on a pedestal or to think that we had power of some kind. Okay, so that's kind of like what's going on right now. Not kind of, it is. I'm gonna do blue. What's the short form for the British duo Tyrannosaurus Rex? T-Rex, which means lizard tyrant. Yeah, these are people who are operating in their lizard brain, that are based on survival, that are they act in low actions because they've been using energy manipulation. This is from what I understand from spirit, and I don't know everything about energy manipulation. Right, sister, they should have done the homework. Yeah, well, that's the thing. They couldn't see past their own ego of power and control, and so they didn't understand that when you do energy manipulation, instead of manifestation comes from a heart place. It comes from joy, it comes from love, it comes from attracting, knowing everything you need, you have, and everything that you need, you have, and that anything that is needed, the universe will bring to you as long as you're in that state of abundance, right? Well, energy manipulation comes from a lack mindset where you are chasing and you have to manipulate things and people and energy in order to get what you want. You're basically telling the universe you don't have it. And so when you energy manipulate, and this is just, I'm not an expert, it's just my understanding from my observations and the knowledge from spirit by asking, is that when you do a ritual, or when you spread a rumor, or when you tell a lie, when you do some kind of manipulation, whether it's through words or through thought or through action or through a ritual, or if you're burning something, sacrificing something for some kind of abundance, that energy has to come from somewhere. It doesn't come out of thin air and magically appear.
Churchyard.
Energy is recycled. It can't be
Shylock.
destroyed. It can't be created. It's already created. Everything that we have is energy. Energy is a exchange. It's the new currency. It has always been currency. And so when you're doing energy manipulation, what these people don't understand, they thought it was just coming out of thin air. Okay? And so that's why they didn't see anything wrong with it. They thought, this is amazing. I can get anything I want. All I have to do is kill a cat, or all I have to do is kill a human. No problem, because they weren't, they're operating in their flesh, in their lizard brain. Okay? And so the energy has to come from somewhere. Well, in the beginning,
Ages ago.
when people start doing this,
Unseen.
it comes from your own field. You're taking your own energy, you're taking your own essence, and you're using it, and you're putting it into whatever it is that you're trying to create. Okay? That's where the energy comes from. Once your reserves are done, confirmation, once your reserves are done, are gone, you've used up all your energy. Now you have to start getting it from other places, because you're in debt. You're energetically in debt. You've used all of your own vital force to manipulate energy. So that's when you become energy vampires, so to speak. And you start having to take it from any, animals, babies, humans, whatever it is you're doing. Otherwise you cannot manifest anything. You can't create anything. And so that's what's happening right now. And we're getting to a point where these people, they didn't understand that. They didn't understand it. It was all fun and games, and it was all, great, and being rich and being in power. All we have to do is this. And now they have addictions, and they have conflict, and they have aggression, and they have weird sexual perversions, and just all kinds of things. It's really, so it's making them desperate. Okay, I'm gonna do the last Trivial Pursuit. It's green. How many times does
Reminder.
a grim reminder? How many times does Boy George spit out karma before getting down to chameleon? 5. Karma, 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 chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. I don't know the rest of the words. Yeah, let me look that up. That's so funny. Karma. It's karma. They went many years. This could have been a I don't know, 100, there's 150, 25, 10, 7-year cycle for certain people who have come across energy manipulation. Energy manipulation was never supposed to be something that we went to, that we relied on, that we that was an option. Lyrics for Chameleon? Karma Chameleon. Karma, 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 chameleon. Desert loving in your eyes all the way. Is that dessert or desert? I think it's desert. I think desert has one S. Desert loving in your eyes all the way. If I listen to your lies, would you say I'm a man without conviction? I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go, you come and go. Karma, 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 chameleon. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Didn't hear your wicked words every day, and you used to be so sweet. I heard you say that my love was an addiction. When we cling, our love is strong. When you go, you're gone forever. You sting along, you string along. This is talking about energy manipulation. This is talking about energy manipulation. Every day is like survival. You're my lover, not my rival. Every day is like survival. I'm a man without conviction. A man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Yeah, energy manipulation does not make your dreams come true. And New Orleans is the #1 hotspot for energy manipulation. And people don't understand that there are 10 times more people turning to energy manipulation now because of the internet, and we're abusing technology, and there's also forces at hand that have the means to send out frequency to give you intrusive thought when you're using energy manipulation, or when you're a manipulator, when you're a liar, when you're a cheater, when you're doing things that aren't for the highest good. That affects the whole world. When you, on a micro scale, when you're lying to people, cheating on people, stealing from people, treating people cruelly because of your own unhealed wounds, that is a form of energy manipulation as well. So these people are creating false flags because of karma they're going through. They think that, I don't know what I'm not really sure like what the logic is here, because it seems pretty like illogical, but I think it's to scare us. That's what it is. Thank you, Spirit. It's to scare us because they need us in a certain energy in order to get our energy to feed off of us. And that sounds like weird and like conspiracy theory, but it's not. If you understand energy, and these people have used all their energy and they need other energy sources in order to be vital, then they have to, their energy source is fear, is guilt, shame. Those are the energy sources that they need in order to keep on thriving. So it really makes sense on an energetic level if you think of it as a currency. Spirit has said, or has told me, that in the whole universe, energy is the currency. Like, it's an energy war, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Look, no hands. Look, no hands. And there's these reptiles down here. Green. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. So red is the root chakra, green is the heart chakra, and gold is the sacral or the solar plexus. So the green, they need our hearts to not be, they need our heart chakras to be closed off and not paying attention to what we want and what we don't want. They need our heart chakras to be closed off. They need us to be more in our root chakras for survival. Just like Karma Chameleon says, where does it say? Every day is like survival. Yeah, they're trying to create fear tactics. They want us to not know what's happening because they want to be able to distract us. They want to be able to distract us. See, they're like watching. Spirit said they're watching to see what happens. And look at these two. You know, it's like, look over here. Look over here, everybody. What's happening over here? What is it they don't want us to look at? What is it that they don't want us to look at? Oh, that flew out. Hit me in the face. The great outdoors. And nature is in reverse on my card. They don't want us to be connected to nature. And I was learning about hoodoo, the difference between hoodoo and voodoo. And this, I don't even think you should label it hoodoo because that puts a negative connotation on it. But basically, we're not connected to earth anymore. You know, we have a lot of technology and we don't go outside. We don't use heart technology. We don't use the soul technology that all of us are capable of using. And they don't want that. They don't want us to go outside. They don't want us to be connected with animals and nature. What else don't they want us to see? I can't make it up. I can't make it up, you guys. That there's there's some kind of order or cult that they're a part of, that they use animals. They are animals. They're in their reptilian brain because they want to keep power. They want to keep living a luxurious lifestyle and not caring about anyone else. It's they want to have their asses wiped for them. What else are they trying to keep us from seeing? What don't they want us to see? What don't they want us to see? Knowledge in reverse. They don't want us to be educated. They don't want us to be educated. They don't want us to have knowledge. They don't want us to spirits are drowned in water, and look at that. Yeah, they want us to be in a state of fear because we're easier to control that way. And if we're not in fear, they can't manipulate our energy. Because what I'm learning is that once you, because they don't understand energy. This group of people, they thought they had power because they could manipulate energy by whatever they were doing with animals and stuff. Okay. And it worked. It worked for a while. It did. But now, because of the energy shift, it doesn't match the energy we're going into. These actions do not frequentially on a physical level of frequency and vibration match the energy that we're in now. And so they repel each other.
It's a trap.
They repel each other. So every time they act in this low vibrational way with this manipulation, whether it's energy or through lies or whatever, false flags, it gets counteracted, or it brings awareness to us, or it helps us to see something fishy's going on, or we're starting to ask more questions now. And so that is literally like opposing the energy they need in order to operate. So that's what's happening. They're just creating little fires to make us all scared. Lit bitty! I thought it said libbity. I guess lip bitty, libbity? I don't know. I don't know if you did that on purpose. But yeah, we're starting to break free from that kind of manipulation, because the energy we're in, being closer to the sun, it makes the veil thinner. It makes us more connected. It makes us more connected to our non-physical energy and to our spirit guidance and to our intuition. The time we're going into is going to be more psychic. It's going to be more telepathic. It's going to be from more of a heart consciousness. And so in heart consciousness, you automatically, little bitty, thank you. You automatically can know where people are at all times with their intentions and their energy, because energy never lies. You'll be able to, when you encounter somebody who's doing energy manipulation, you'll be able to know, because you'll be able to, with your non-physical energy, smell their horrible smell that's not physical. It's a psychic hit, or you'll be able to feel the uncomfortability in your body, and you'll be able to equate that to, this person is not for my highest good. And that's on a micro scale. And on a macro scale, it's our government, it's the powers that be that keep us at a low energy. So because they don't want us to understand ourselves, they don't want us to understand energy. Okay. Science, a detective, sports, farm animals, knights and dragons. Yeah, they don't want us to use our imagination. They don't want us to understand history. They don't want us to ask questions. They just want us to, keep our noses down, play your sports, shut up, go shopping, buy things, be distracted. That's what they want. Okay? So And maybe that's like oversimplifying it, and there could be like more to it, but that's like it in a nutshell. So it's a false flag. Now, how can I find out what happened with the perpetrator? What happened with the perpetrator? What is that all about? Let me see. I'm just going to go into a moment of silence for a moment so I can shuffle and hear. Spirit, was this perpetrator in cooperation, or was it... I have to ask one question at a time for these cards. Was this person in cooperation with this group? Was this person in cooperation with this group? Was this person in cooperation with this group? Yes. Feels right, good idea, aligned with your values. Okay. Were these values intrusive? Was this idea an intrusive thought? No. On pins and needles, rough patch, being stuck. Was this aligned with their values because of misinformation? No. Stormy relationships. Was this aligned with their values because of their emotional state? No. Was this person doing energy manipulation? Yes. Yes. Oh, and Lit Bitty said yes. This person was doing energy manipulation. True North found, follow this direction. Oh my God, I'm so tired of energy manipulation. Was this person part of the order, or was this person part of the order? Yes. Yes. This person was part of this order, was part of this Masonic lodge or whatever, this cult. Basically, it's a cult. They're a part of it. They were told that if they, oh, let me ask, were they told that if they did this, they would receive abundance? Whoops. Were they told by this order that if they do this, they would receive abundance? Yes. Yes.
Liquidations. Fringe science.
Fringe science. Your dreams take flight, fluttering around. How do we start outing these people? Because I was a victim for a long time. Well, we're outing them now through these reads, but another way that we can stop this, by what Spirit tells me, and I'm just a messenger, I don't know everything, but I have asked this question, is to work on yourself. Make yourself a clear vessel, a clear conduit for divine guidance, so that way you are not susceptible to energy manipulation. Work on your intuition, work on your discernment, work on your relationship with Spirit for guidance, so you can be your own counsel, so we don't look outside of ourselves for any kind of Spirit said brother in the sky, big brother in the sky. I told you. So we don't have to rely on people we don't even trust to have power over us. It starts within. And the way you do that is by getting energies that aren't true to who you want to be out of your field by connecting with spirit or God or creator through meditation, by quieting your mind, taking care of your body, eating the right foods, being disciplined, having self-control, learning your emotions, healing your wounds, all of that.
Transported.
So the perpetrator who did this does energy manipulation. They do magic. Okay, they do magic. They're in a Masonic order that does energy manipulation. And what about their next victims? Well, from what I understand is that what Spirit has told me to get me through my own spiritual warfare is that you cannot control what other people do. You can only control what you do. And if you want to help any victims, then you need to first start with yourself, because you can't help anybody if you're not in a state of completeness, which you're never complete and you can never get it done, but it happens energetically. When you heal your own wounds and you stop becoming a victim and you love yourself, yes, lippity, and you come from a place of compassion in a heart space, a heart consciousness, that impacts the macro, the whole world on an energetic level. And you can't help on a macro scale if you're not doing it on a micro scale. So that's what Spirit has told me, and so I've really concentrated on myself, honestly, on just myself. I can help others by helping myself. Love? Oh, I love you too. I love you too. I love the vibes. So the perpetrator was doing magic. Okay, they were told that if they do this, winging it, nest egg, something to crow about, that they would receive abundance. That this action would get them some kind of abundance. That would make their dreams come true. That would make their dreams take flight. Okay. That's interesting. So, why New Orleans? Why New Orleans? Like, that's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Like, of all places to go,
That was miserable.
that was miserable. Spirit said that was miserable. Maybe because of there's a lot of pain there. I don't know. Maybe because it's I don't know why. Something about it being susceptible to energy manipulation because of the energy manipulation that's done there. I don't know. Spirit, why was the perpetrator, why did the perpetrator choose, or why did this Masonic group choose New Orleans? I told you, because the people have, it's not open there. The heart, the energy there is not heart, it's not heart consciousness there. So it was the most matching to that energy. And I'm telling you, it has to do with energy. This is an energy war. So when they do these things, they choose the places that have the most matching energy to them, because that's the only way they can hit a place, is if the energy matches what they're sending out. That's how energy works. They can't send energy manipulation to a place that is high vibrational or has more energy in it that is based out of heart consciousness, because it doesn't match. And that's why they're freaking out. That's why it's so random. Bitterness, resentment, anger. Yeah, because there's a lot of resentment and anger in that area. That area is haunted. There's so much voodoo and animal sacrifice that happens there. It's like a vortex of bitterness, stress, turbulence. Yeah, they want to create tension. They want to create stress. So that was a place where it matched that energy they wanted to create. They were only you, devoted, attached, crave. Intimacy, bonding, sensual, confiding. They wanted to attach some kind of cord or something. Some kind of cord. I'm not sure. I don't know all the answers for energy manipulation.
She loves you.
I love you too. There's definitely things about it
Fiona.
I don't understand. Spirit said Fiona. She loves you. I don't know if that's pertinent to someone in here. Yeah, there's something about creating a trauma bond in an area that is bound by some kind of bitterness and resentment. There's some kind of like cord it creates. I'm getting like an image of like plugging in to a power source, being able to trauma bond energetically to a place that matches their energy is what I'm getting, to empower them. Oh, that's why this is some like way to plug in for more power because they're losing power. Conflicted, yeah. They made a decision that was like up or down, hot or cold. They didn't know how it would work, so they wanted to start on a really small scale
Sandra.
to kind of see what would happen. Twin flames mirroring upside down. They wanted to see if the people would mirror the projection that they were sending out. This was some kind of trauma bond, but to a land, if that makes sense, to a place, because they want to put. It's like dumping energetically. It's like plugging in with a trauma bond to a place, to a landmark that matches their energy, and then pushing in, like feeding that cord into the land, feeding it hopelessness, despair, sinking feeling, and then that will energetically disperse to the people in that area because that area is matching the energy to begin with, and they're hoping that it spreads, that it would spread that energy. That is so interesting. Yeah, and that it would affect, they're hoping it affects
Nose.
the health of people around
Crossing.
mentally and physically, but it's not. Though this isn't even supposed to be in there. They're just chasing their pursuits of what they want to happen because they're toxic and they're like, Spirit said crossing. They're at some kind of crossroads where they're doing desperate actions. They're just trying to do anything to keep a hold on the energy. But we're going to be calling their bluff because they're going through karma, an emotional storm. Before the energy shift, before the time jump, and we talk about that on Spirit News. If you want to go check that episode out, you can go to it through all the platforms. We're on Apple, we're on Apple iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and we have the time jump episode. And in the time jump episode, we jumped a timeline to the new Earth. And those who didn't make it are people like this. And so we're calling their bluff energetically because it's putting them in an emotional storm, not being able to manipulate people anymore because of the age of information. So my twin is in a trauma bond currently. Oh, clarity. Yeah, their obsessive behavior to not have us have clarity one day is now coming to a close. We're coming out of conflict, we're becoming divine, and it's creating a finality. They're spying on us, and they're trying to get people to be withdrawn. They're trying to use energy manipulation to influence us. They're trying to use distractions like chasing thrills and partying and drugs to cling on to old distorted illusions. So we make mistakes to keep past life cycles going. But there's a lot of people in the collective that are waking up because they're realizing that they're surrounded by karmic people that keep them trapped and tied down. Just like you were saying, Divine Diamond, your person's in a karmic cycle. They're mixed up. They're trapped and tied down because they're not able to take responsibility for things they did in their pride. And that's on a micro scale happening on a macro scale. Yeah, perspective. All right. Well, thank you, Spirit. That's fantastic. I mean, these are just the... I feel like this is going to happen for probably a couple more years. We did an episode about the government and alien invasion and all that. They're going to have multiple tactics they're going to try to use to get us in a fear state because they're trying to bind us to a trauma bond to keep us scared. But there's too many people awakening right now, and that's why I love doing these readings, because it helps me connect with people who are waking up too, because I know the people who are watching these that find resonance in these are the ones who are waking up. And by us sharing our information and not being afraid to share it and having the platform to do it is such a beautiful thing. And thank you, sister, for your time. Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I'm so grateful. That was a fun one. Thank you, Marie Lightworker. So spread the word. You know, this is just fear tactics, but do it in a loving way. We're not here to scare anybody or force our opinions on people. And this is just a potentiality of many potentials, and it could shift at any time. And we're just here for the shift. We're here for the shift to bring awareness to things that are unseen. And we hope that it helps so much. This is verbatim what I experienced last year. I only hopped in last minute or so, but every detail is the spiritual warfare I got out of it. Thank you for your affirmation. Yes, no problem. Thank you, Morgan Stark, for being here. What a pretty name, Morgan. Oh, that sounds so like Renaissance. Oh, Spirit said it's a malicious entity.
No friend.
No friend. Well, thank you so much for being here. I love you all so much. I am so happy to be able to share my gift with you guys and help get a higher perspective of our linear view. If you want to code any of our socials, you can find all that information through the link tree in the description bar. We would be happy to have you. The truth is spoken through Barry Strom. He is so gifted. I'm going to have to look him up. Let me write it down. Barry Strom, because you know, knowing me, I'll forget it. Barry, how do you spell it? S-T-R-O-H-M, Strom. I'll look him up, Marie. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.